Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. And today is a bit of an Arsenal rehab. We gonna basically, well, I don't know even how to describe this. We're gonna talk about Arsenal's transfers. We're gonna dive a bit into yesterday's game, per se. There were some rumors about transfers, of course. We're gonna talk a small dive into that. But more importantly, which is quite impressive, we're gonna talk about the January transfer window, and we're gonna talk about the fact, can it save our season? Because ultimately, for me, as I sit here, I talk about things, it's a very, I don't know how to even describe this. It's a very rough one, because saving this season for Arsenal pretty much seems impossible at this stage. If we want to save it to at least to some extent, to make it somewhat respectable in that instance, we must act, well, basically right now on the spot. We should be signing someone and announcing someone by, well, basically Wednesday at worst, given that the fact that even Ipswich Town already has signed a player on loan. Yes, Godfrey from Atalanta. He was on the outs there, but still, he left. He was there for half a year. Now he's back in Premier League. Legitimately, 6 months. It took them 5 days in this year, in January transfer window, they already have signed someone. Ipswich Town, Ipswich Town. And for Ipswich Town to sign someone like Godfrey, comparatively to Arsenal, in my opinion at least, would be like signing someone like Tomori, maybe someone like Kunde, maybe someone on that level. Basically, if you add like parallel lines on comparisons for the team and the level of player they're signing. So, why is Arsenal not doing anything? That is the big question here. Big up Nathan in the chat. We're going to talk about Coman in the second. United gave us life, and that is the big thing. United today, a few minutes ago, technically even, drew against Liverpool 2-2. And that makes our yesterday's draw even worse. Because that would have mean, if we won the game, right, that would have meant that we are only 4 points behind Liverpool. And that would be a complete different story. And the Liverpool still have a game in hand, and it's still a 2-game swing at least to get it even at a draw. So we are still struggling with 18 games to go. We have a 2-game swing still to happen. Not to mention the fact that Nottingham Forest still has a game. I don't know when they play tomorrow or when they play. I haven't even checked when Nottingham Forest plays. Nottingham Forest plays, I assume tomorrow? That would be my assumption, given that they play tomorrow against Wolves. But yeah, interesting games today. Both teams drew 2-2, ironically enough. Both games, right? But ultimately, the draw against Brighton now is even more painful. Because let's be real, at Anfield, nobody expected for Liverpool to drop points. I didn't expect that. Liverpool fans didn't expect that. Man United fans didn't even expect that they will drew at least against Liverpool, given how they're playing this season and how they're looking in recent times. So they got a draw. United fans probably are over the moon given the state they are in at the moment. They are 13th in the table, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. But ultimately, this is again a kind of a low blow for Arsenal. Because we drew against Brighton. We could have lost the game, let's be real. But ultimately, if we won that game, this would be only a 4-point difference. We would be arguably in a striking distance of Liverpool. Even though they have a game in hand, obviously, but it's better to have points on board than actually somewhere in the air, as it says, right? So this is the new big question. What could have been... Obviously this draw is a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Ultimately. What could have that meant? Because most of the time, it has been like that. When Arsenal draw points, Liverpool drop points. That has been the most of the times. Liverpool have dropped points, we drop points against Fulham. Liverpool drop points, we drop points to Brighton. And it has been a reoccurring theme. The only difference is when we have dropped points at times, Liverpool have taken advantage of it. Arsenal have never. That is the biggest thing. 6 points still behind. And they still have a game in hand. As I say, it's better to have points on board, but it's still 6 goddamn points. Still. Exactly. See, we were already pre-stream with Nathan talking in the chat about transfers. And for me, the deadline to actually do something personally, that's my thoughts on this, is about January 10th to 12th. Maybe you can extend it to 14th. I would say basically till next mid next week, even Wednesday maybe. But basically in a week it's January 12th, so it's 12 days, 2 weeks enough. Should be enough for us to sign someone proper. After that, more or less it could be curtains for Arsenal, because it will be like this. Can't wait till the last week of January, then the player still takes months to adjust. Exactly, it will be end of the month. We will be in panic mode. It will be stress, pain, and everything, just like it was in August. And in August, we signed Raheem Sterling. Guess who we could sign this January? Guess, genuinely guess. It's not that tough to guess. Rashford most likely is gonna come in on the last second basis, on loan even, with obligation to buy, by the way, most likely as well. Yeah, Cunha signed a new deal at Wolves. He did. Basically, as the media put it, massive blow to Arsenal and United as he signed a new deal. It's not a massive blow at the end of the day, let's be real. It genuinely is not a massive blow. It's not. Because we actually were not linked properly with it. We were just rumored that we actually could be exploring that option. And they even said themselves that he wasn't our number one target. Not for now, and not for summer. Ironically enough. Liverpool have tough fixtures. Teams better step up. That's the thing. Remember what we said. Arsenal had the hardest start of the season. First 12 games or something like that, right? First third of the season, Arsenal had the hardest one. After that, till mid-January, we had a pretty easy run. Because obviously by then we didn't know that we will have a Carabao Cup and FA Cup draws, obviously, right? So we looked at it and we thought we have easy draw after the first 10 games till like 20th, 21st game. We would have pretty easy draw. We had pretty easy games. We should be winning all of them. And now look at where we are. Genuinely look at where we are. Those games that were the toughest ones, we actually got some results. The games we are looking as the easy ones, we are dropping points. That's how actually wild it is and how we are looking at these things. It's insane. And I just clocked it. I'm looking at this table, right? Remember Newcastle had that drop off for a few games. They actually are only 5 points behind us. They are closer to us. We are the same distance between us and 60s as we are from the first, as wild as it sounds. Newcastle in the fifth are closer to us than we are to Liverpool, who are in the first, and we are sitting second in the table. Let that sink in. Let that sink in to some extent as well. I knew they would get something. United only step up in the toughest games. True, but in the recent times they were genuinely pammed by Liverpool left, right and center, so nobody expected to see a draw. And to be honest, in the last seconds of the game with Harry Maguire's header, even United could have won that game. Imagine the scenes then. Imagine the scenes then if United would have won that game and Arsenal still drew against Brighton. That would be even more painful and embarrassing for Arsenal, because that would be even bigger opportunity missed. Yes, they got 1 point. But imagine they drop all three, they don't get even that 1 point. And Arsenal would have won that game. That would have meant that we are only, 2 points behind? Technically, if that would have been the case. That would have been even more nuts for Arsenal. Tomorrow the club will show if they're serious and want announcement tomorrow. Exactly. I want announcement tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Let's put it that way, given that we are. Although, let's be real, we are playing on Tuesday, so there will be no announcement then. we have day off tomorrow, and then on Tuesday we play against Newcastle. And Nwaneri is injured, so who's gonna play right wing? I don't know if Havertz will be ready. So we are basically expecting who to play right wing? Martinelli again? Trossard? Jesus? Who we are expecting to play right wing? Like, in that. Exactly. On Tuesday we are not gonna announce anyone because we are playing the game. So that at the end of the day means we have a chance to sign someone tomorrow, announce. But given the fact how we are moving in this transfer window and that so far we have had absolute zilch, I don't expect us announcing anything at best till next week. That's how I see these things. At best till next week. So January 13th, yeah. January 13th in a week is Monday. So I expect something by then at best. At best, not even worst, at best. Because at worst we will sign someone in the last week of the transfer window. I'm having a feeling if we sign good players this trophy, we can manage to get Liverpool. We'll sleep if, anyways, we'll sleep up in front. We'll sleep up in front of. Imagine if we could have won against Brighton, bro. We could have been players on. And that's the thing. If you think about this transfer window, that's why it is in the title. That's why it is in the title. Can this January window somewhat save Arteta's job? Which I, as much as I hate to say this, don't want to. I don't want people getting sacked, losing their jobs, but it's time to part ways with Arteta, in my opinion. But still, can this season be saved to some extent by this January window? Ultimately, yes, it can, but only under the condition we sign the players we actually want and we actually need for the team, and for the team to expand, to grow, and to kind of improve in certain key areas. If we just sign another Kivior level of player, it means nothing. It's another money wasted. If we sign someone from the high end, it would be a completely different story. If we sign, imagine randomly Arsenal sign Kvaratskhelia right now. I know it's maybe not what everyone wants, but to some extent that would get us excited, because we haven't seen attacker coming in about 3 years at Arsenal. We haven't seen our attack being refreshed for 3 years. And we haven't had a new left winger since Trossard came in, and in general since Martinelli was there. So it is a bit of an interesting one. Just imagine that just randomly out of nowhere, someone comes in, like a somewhat big player. Exactly. And he's going to start against Newcastle, and we all know how he plays against Newcastle, as he goes missing against them all the time. Australia cricket beating India, save my way. Big up, big up, big up. Buemo, drop the bag and make it happen. Buemo actually wouldn't even be the big bag. It would be about, what, 40 million? Something like that, I would assume. It wouldn't be like 90 or something. It wouldn't be a nuts value as well. It's not unobtainable. It actually would have been quite easy obtainable value as well. So, to be honest, I want Prem players, or at least one Prem player. I wouldn't be against signing a Prem player and one outside of the Prem player. Granted that this player we signed from outside the Premier League, right, is also a big name. Because if we sign someone like Molero from Las Palmas that we have been linked with, or or other these smaller random players, Retegui even from Italy, from Atalanta, we have been allegedly linked with, I'm not too excited about that, am I? Because I would be more excited about signing a bigger name that actually has some skill to him, and he actually, even though he comes to a new league, he actually has the quality to instantly get into the team and deliver, even on his own at times. Well, when he hasn't got that time. Exactly, Buemo is the guy. Could be genuinely. Buemo and Osimhen. I have to make you cry here, because if I can find this, according to Business Day NG, West Africa's leading source of business intelligence and market moving since 2001. Here you go, commercial and everything. Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United in January, and talks have already begun about the transfer. Whether it's true or not, no idea. I'm gonna put it out there. Genuinely have zilch of an idea, but it looks like he actually might be going to Man United if this is true. I would love for Arsenal to sign an insane striker like Osimhen or something, and that would be the case. Napoli care about the money and just offer more. The biggest thing is he has like a what's its face? Like a clause in his contract that he can get recalled mid-loan, and he has like release clauses that the team can pay about 60-70 million, something weird like that. It's actually hella cheap to get Osimhen from Napoli right now. Even though it says that he's asking about 100 million or something, that something like that, it actually is about what. See, in the summer they wanted 130 million euros, right? Which is about what, 120 million pounds. And in winter they want about only 70 million at best. It's not even that big of a deal. It's genuinely not that big of a deal. So it's a weird one. It's genuinely a weird one. Osimhen, like about 70-80 million, that actually wouldn't be the worst one. The question is, who would pay? Because I don't see Arsenal paying that. Even though they say PSR and FFP isn't an issue, lack of money isn't an issue, yet Arteta in interviews indicates that we have no money. Go figure what they want to achieve with that, of course. Obviously, we talked about this when Nwaneri is injured. Unfortunately, I think we've lost him, and it's another one. It's a muscular injury, so he might be out for a few weeks once again. Nwaneri is done and dusted as well, so good job Mikel Arteta on that one. In other news about Nico Williams, which I know many Arsenal fans would love to see at Arsenal, I'm quite a hell of an offense with him. I rather not than yes, obviously. But Arsenal will formalize their interest in signing Nico Williams and make a bid only if the Spanish player shows some desire to make the move. The thing is though, there are still rumors that he prefers to join Barcelona than Arsenal. So good luck him with that, genuinely. Imagine bringing Osimhen, a new player with X factor that coaches must plan for. That is the thing. We are very predictable in the attack. Like, let's be real. With Saka, without Saka, it doesn't matter. Because with Saka, they know who you have to cover. Without Saka, everyone knows that we are toothless, pretty much. So they don't have to prepare as hard, even. Let's be real, they can more focus on their own tactics, how they're gonna play. And we haven't had a new attacker in the team since we signed Trossard, which was 2.5 years ago. Exactly 3 years ago, actually, if you think about it. 22-23 season, exactly 3 years ago it was. As wild as it sounds, to be honest. Exactly 3 years ago. Oh, two? 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. 2.5 years ago that was. That was the last time we signed a striker. Well, sorry, attacker. Not even a striker, attacker. And that was Trossard. Before that, obviously, it was Jesus. Besides that, we have not signed a forward whatsoever. And we haven't refreshed our attack since then as well. So this is the biggest thing. That's why we are so bad in the attack as well. Despite all the control and everything. I kind of get some substantial feeling that one of the biggest reasons why we struggle in the attack as well so much, it's because it's very, very the same. It's not changed. It hasn't changed whatsoever. It's the same players, same tactics, same situations. Nothing new, no fresh styles, blood, ideas, no nothing. And I think that is also a big issue why our attack is a bit stagnated and very easy to kind of hack, in a way. Videos will take 5 months to click, so look at Savio. To be honest, with Savio it's a bit different. Last year at Girona, he predominantly played left wing, and he was cooking there. And when he played right wing, he was playing together right back with Young Kuto, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. So he was technically at Real Madrid, at Man City playing right wing. He's a bit out of position. He's much better than left wing. Same as Nico Williams. Nico Williams predominantly is a left winger. Yes, he can play at right wing. He tends to play at right wing at times, but ultimately he plays better at left wing. Sorry, he plays better at left wing. Big up Charles. How is Ethan injured? Well, it is what it is. Mikel Arteta has confirmed that here we go. He has a muscular injury. He was forced to take him off, and there are still no news about how long he will be out for. But given it's a muscular injury, I would give at least 2-3 weeks in this instance at least. So we'll have to wait and see. Doesn't matter what you do in La Liga. Prem is different when you're playing teams like Sierra. That's the biggest thing. There isn't many teams who play against, for example, City and Arsenal like they play in other leagues. Most of the teams try to do something against most of the teams. Against City and Arsenal, those in a way are those two teams that everyone can afford to park the bus. Because we play very similar styles, controlling, passing, and everything, just maximum control, which allows them to set up the way they want, and they are not forced to have the possession of the ball. They can just counter, try to get a corner, a free kick, or something like that. Other teams, when they play, I am even talking about Liverpool here, they don't play the same style. And they can afford to kind of try and go at them. Same goes also for from Spurs, and Chelsea and teams like that. Nobody parks bus against them because they attack and they know they can get, if they get the ball, they can hit them on a counter. Against Arsenal and City, it's a bit different. Because if you get the ball, it's much harder to hit us on the counter, because the way we are holding and recycling the possession, it's really hard to get it off us. And even when you do, it's really hard to instantly push everyone forward to try and hit us out of place and out of possession, out of defensive areas, because, well, everyone's mostly back by the time. Because we even though we overcommit players forward, defensive line and shape stays no matter what. Are the players good enough for a treble? Depends for which team you are talking here. If you're talking about, well, Real Madrid, yes. Inter Milan, maybe, yes. Man City, no. Arsenal, hell no. Liverpool, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Who else is there in the world? Al Ittihad, hell no. I don't know. Girondins de Bordeaux, they're in League 4 with almost getting ruined, so no. Monaco, they just signed Arsenal's third striker, Mika Bierres, so no. Who else is there? Depends what club you're asking about. We are a big team. We only need three clinical players to fight for title. Remember the players we used to sign, like Ozil, Sanchez, Cazorla, Aubameyang. Exactly, that is the biggest thing. We used to sign big players. Name the last big player Arsenal have signed. Like properly big player. After Ozil, it was a Sanchez and it was Aubameyang, right? Those three. After that, is there anyone? Because I don't see the Rice being such a big name that you talk about him on a worldwide stage like you did about Alexis Sanchez, Aubameyang, like Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil played for Real Madrid, for fuck's sake. And everything. So technically the last big player we signed was Aubameyang. Like realistically speaking, that was what, 8-9 years ago? Like that's laughable offense for the team that Arsenal is alone. And suckable offense for Arteta that he has spent 800 million and no such a big name has arrived at Arsenal. Yet we moved to the Emirates to sign big players, to compete for Champions League with Bayern, Barcelona, Real Madrid and all these teams. Yet we cannot afford to sign even one world-class level of a player. We cannot even do that. Instead, we sign some players to try and develop them to move into a process. Doesn't make any sense. What are Olmo updates? He's officially a free agent. Yeah, he is, but here it is. According to Marca, that's from Spain, of course. Bienvenidos a la casa de los deportes. Somos Marca, el diario de todas las aficiones. Basically, news about them. Dani Olmo apparently believes in Laporta's words. He believes and trusts him and turns a deaf ear to any other offer. He is not considering any other scenario than continuing at Barcelona. And if that is the truth, there is no chance he's signing for Arsenal, first of all, because Arteta doesn't want a player who doesn't want to play for us and everything. So ultimately, it's done and dusted. He's gonna wait, and if it will be very interesting if this is true, right? Let's assume this is true, right? And if this goes till the last days of January, right? And Barcelona still haven't found a way to register him. What is he going to do? Is he gonna opt in for a free agency and sign for anyone who takes him? Or is he gonna sit on the bench, well, not bench, he's gonna be at home without any game time and without any salary, by the way, for the rest of the year until the summer? What is he going to do if it doesn't work out till the end of January? Because technically at the moment he's a free agent. Anyone who wants can go offer him a deal and everyone go to their club. Let's be real, there is no denying about that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he apparently, according to Marca, he wants to stay at Barcelona. So he's not listening to other offers. But what will he do once there are 2 days left in January and he's still unemployed? Quote unquote speaking. What will he do then? Will he start to listen to other offers? Or will he just patiently wait with blind eye, hold it by 31st, everything's done and dusted, and if it's not, then for the rest of the half of a year till June, July, till they can register players again and sell them to register, he will be unemployed, sit at home, do nothing? Play for Barcelona's B team in the training or something like that? What will he do? That is also a thing you have to keep into account. Arsenal, if the answer is no, why do fans act like we are? Exactly. That is the biggest thing. We are not ready for a treble. We are not ready for any cup, to be honest, based on the depth of the squad, the style we play, the manager we have, the players we have on the bench and even off the bench. We are not ready for any of these things. We are not ready for injuries whatsoever, because as soon as we get one injury for a big player, our manager panics. We got injuries for right backs, all of a sudden Partey goes right back, our right back goes left back, and our best midfielder is at right back, then we play striker as a left winger and everything. He completely goes all over the place. No consistencies, no nothing, no proper replacements, no recruitment whatsoever. If stories come out that Arsenal didn't even look at Toma, I'll be furious. They probably haven't. They most probably haven't. There are rumors and links coming out that Arsenal are interested in Olmo, but we all know what this means. It means nothing at the end of the day. Many stories are being pushed out solely because Arsenal need a player in specific position, and putting Arsenal's name in the title, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on wherever, LinkedIn, on Facebook, on whatever sites, the news sites, on everywhere, instantly gets you clicks. Instantly, because United and Arsenal are two most profitable in terms of clicks and everything on social medias whatsoever overall. Because technically these are two teams with the biggest fan bases in the world from England. English teams, obviously I'm talking about English teams here. Two of the biggest fan bases. And that's why it gets the most clicks. Let's be real. And that doesn't always mean that Arsenal actually are linked in. Because I see links today coming out with players that we were linked in with summer. But there is no chance that Arsenal in this position they are in would still be linked with the same players we were linked in with summer. And yet, if you dig even deeper, we were linked with those players a year before in the summer as well. So it's just rinse and repeat the same cycle with the same players ultimately. You know, you still remember Daly Vlahovic and players like that, Daly Dushan and stuff like that. It's still slowly happening. Daly Osimhen for the last 2 years. Oh, Pogba is also a free agent. Yeah, Pogba is still under no contract, which is very interesting. How is that going? How that hasn't changed still to this day. And here is the interesting one. Arsenal are considering bringing in Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich to cover for Bukayo Saka. But, like, if this is true, it's too late. Let's be real. Do we need backup for Saka? Yes, we do. But bringing in Coman, it's way too late. Given also his injury history, his ankles, that he has got about 50 surgeries on them, and he has said if he needs another surgery on his ankles, that he's gonna retire and everything. Not the best option to have, let's be real. And it's too late. If we were talking about Coman about 3 years ago, no problem. But now it's too late for me. Personally, it is too late. Like, exactly. Coman and Sterling, it's like 2006. It's like the most players we are linked. It's like fans instantly get hyped as we are talking about Raheem Sterling from like 2016, 2017 Man City. Coman from prime Bayern Munich from about 10 years ago or something like that, and everything. It's like they get hyped about players that were in their prime about 5-10 years ago, and now their prime is past. They have had injuries, they are gone older, the quality has dropped. It's like they live in past. And to be honest, as an Arsenal fan, this is the only thing you can do these days, because living in the past, in a way, as bad as it is, because you shouldn't live in the past, you should live for the future, look at the present and remember the past in terms of the things you have learned and you can take to put into your future for better results. That's the only thing Arsenal fans can do. Because we look at Thierry Henry days, Van Persie days, winning FA Cups, winning the Premier League and everything. We are History Channel FC at these days. That's it. We push out 55,000 packs of merch, 180 euros for a random baseball jacket with Arsenal logo on it from 1886, what it feels like. And then we look in the past of Thierry Henry gold, Bergkamp's flick against Newcastle, and everything. We look at these things all over the place. I want players on the way up who still worry about their... Exactly. Who still worry... might as well not worry about their careers, but we need someone who can throw a challenge to most of our players. It's like, what's the point in having Saka on the right wing and signing Marquinhos as a backup, having Reece Nelson as a backup, who actually cannot even show a proper challenge for them to get subbed on in the training or anything, because they are basically like comparing apples to oranges. Impossible. That's the biggest thing. What's the point in that then if you're gonna have players like that? Buemo, Gordon, Trincao, there are loads of those. About to see the best of me, the blood. Exactly, about to see the best of me, the bloody cheek. He says this crap. Fast forward like 3 months, he has a game against, who did we play? Against Crystal Palace in the cup, in Carabao Cup. Tierney whips in a ball, he misses from 2 yards out, and then he hits the bar from 2 yards out. What the hell is this best of you? This was the prime assist what KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, was giving him every single time when he was playing for Man City, and he was hitting goals in left, right, and center. Kieran Tierney does the same thing. He hits it straight at the keeper. He hits straight at the bar from 2 yards out, and we are holding our heads in shame because we cannot score empty net goals even anymore. What the hell is that? See the best of me. We just saw the best of you. You couldn't even finish your dinner. You couldn't hit war if you were standing on a boat. What the hell was that about? Speaking of Tierney, I don't want Sagas get it done. Yeah, there are, to be honest. I read today articles that what's its face? Brendan Rodgers was calling out a Celtic fan base. Yeah, because Celtic were chanting Kieran Tierney's name during the game in very bad limelight. I didn't check it what they were chanting, but it's like they were disrespecting him, his name, and everything. So Brendan Rodgers was calling them out on that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I just want them to go. Like, I want him to play. I want him to play for Arsenal. But if Arteta is stubborn and stupid enough not to play him, because he is quote unquote the best left back in the team, then get him gone. Let him try and reset his career something else. Because as soon as Arteta came in, Tierney's career was done pretty much at Arsenal. It's a shame to see, because Arteta wanted only to invert. If we had gone any other manager who didn't want to invert, Tierney would still be playing as a left back. He had a proper backup, or there would be a guy in front of him because he's injury prone. Obviously, he gets injured, but he would still be playing quite consistently. He wouldn't go out on loans. He wouldn't sit on the bench most of the time and everything. We have strong defense in Premier League, but few goals that shows openly our front three is not good enough to bring more goals. We always struggle if we meet hard times. The invisible went... Exactly, that's the thing. Our defense is decent enough. That's the biggest thing. Our defense is good enough to withstand most of the pressure we are getting during games, right? Our midfield, though, is not good enough to create, because we played with, 4 DMs, 4 sixes pretty much, against, who did we just play? I already have forgotten. Against Brighton. We played with 4 DMs against Brighton. 3 in the midfield, pretty much, 1 as a right back. Like, what the hell was that about at the end of the day? Like, serious talk. Who wins games like that? It didn't work beforehand. Who did we played this stuff before against Everton or whoever we played this before, and it didn't work. Why would it work right now? Like, on serious note, why would it work right now? And on top of that, you have a 17-year-old on right wing with no proper support. Then you have Jesus, who is on a purple patch a bit, right, with no support. And then you have Martinelli on the left wing, who basically is as useful as an umbrella on a sunny day on that space. Like, what the hell are we talking about here? At the end of the day, what? Not Martinelli, Trossard on the left wing, who also didn't have the best of games. All of them had useless shit games, let's be real. Our defense can withstand most of the pressure, ultimately, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. It's the fact that we have impotence in the attack, pretty much. We cannot score, we cannot create most of the time. And when we create, our attack is not clinical enough to finish these chances. And it's not like we're creating 10, 15 chances during a game when we can say, oh, we just got unlucky. We create 3, 4 chances at best. At best, we score 1, and rest of them, it's not that they're hard chances as well many times. It's just the fact that we just cannot finish them. Genuinely, we hit it straight into row Z, straight at the keeper. We are offside. We are just not clinical enough at the end of the day. And then we have Jesus up top, who says he cannot finish on consistent basis. At least he can score off the pitch and everything, but let's not talk about that. Havertz, obviously we all know he cannot finish and everything. His heading ability is just embarrassing for a 6'4" guy, and that's about it. Saka goes out of the team. He's injured for half a year till the end of the season, most likely. Nwaneri comes in, a 17-year-old, shows our experienced senior guys how to score goals. Seriously, he comes in and instantly scores and gets injured afterwards, obviously, but that's a bit different. But yeah, he shows them how to score. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing is that? We haven't bought a new attacker in 3 years. That's the biggest shame and biggest pain and biggest embarrassment and one of the biggest sackable offenses for Arsenal in general under Mikel Arteta's regime. Any new names linked besides Coman? Depends. Arsenal have set a 20 million asking price, at least, to sell Kivior this month. At least 20 million to sell him. I love how this says Arsenal set asking price for brilliant player who is targeted by multiple clubs. In which universe and how many shots you would have to do to name Kivior a brilliant player? Like, let's be real here. How many shots would you need to do to name Kivior a brilliant player? He's been linked with Napoli and that Marseille as well. Napoli and Marseille, just go and sell him to them, please. Apparently Arsenal want to sign incredible star who has the X factor, and that of course is Kingsley Coman. He doesn't have the X factor, let's be real. He has no factor whatsoever apart from injuries and being in the hospital. It's not it. It's like we're looking at players living in history. It's like watching the old tapes of a player. Basically, watching highlights from 10 years ago and thinking he can still do this. Like, come on, man. And the last one I wanted to talk about on a split second here, and this is an interesting one. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very interesting one, because we will look at Mikel Arteta's interview as well after this, but after Brighton's game. But we'll look at this. Should Arsenal consider sacking Arteta if we have another trophyless season? Holy crap! They are making actually news articles about this now. Because when I was saying this, when some people in Arsenal's fan base were saying this, we got called toxic and negative, we don't claim you, fuck off down the lane to support Spurs, and everything else. Now all of a sudden, there are articles about this starting out now. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, there are articles starting with questions: should he be sold? Should he get sold? Sacked. Sorry, sold. Dude, that wouldn't be bad. If it is another trophyless season, and Mikel Arteta may be edging closer to another season without securing a Premier League title, as Arsenal fail to close the gap on Liverpool following their draw against Brighton. Liverpool currently sit 5 points ahead, well 6 at the moment after today's game, but obviously this article was before the game. Have played 2 games fewer, leaving Arsenal with an increasingly uphill battle. While Arsenal remain in contention for silverware in other competitions, including FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Champions League, well, might as well leave that one out, the chances of lifting the Premier League trophy now appear slim. Good. He actually has a brain cell. I like this journalist. Who is it? By Admin Martin. Okay, I assume that's Martin something. He's just an admin. Okay. Give him a raise, genuinely. Give him a bloody raise, like Nathan is saying. Give that man a raise. What a journalist. Exactly. Give him a bloody goddamn raise. Anyways, what will else say? Arsenal will soon contest the Carabao semi-final to fight for their place in the final, and they are still alive in Champions League and FA Cup. However, their Premier League hopes now largely depend on Liverpool faltering, and that actually is the case. If, for example, Carabao Cup depends on us still going to semi-finals and going into finals. FA Cup depends how we play against United. Champions League depends how we play in there and where we finish and everything. Premier League, it doesn't matter now what we do because everything rides on Liverpool failing now. Because they have game in hand, and if they win that game, it's 9 points. That's a 3-game swing alone to get at least in a drawing distance, at least. And that now, pretty much our season depends on Liverpool dropping points. And that is given only if we also pick up points ourselves in every single game. That is also needs to be in there. So it just doesn't depend on Arsenal, it depends on Liverpool. If Liverpool beat Manchester United today and win their games in hand, the title race could effectively be over for Arsenal. And to be honest, let's be real. Liverpool have game in hand. They are 6 points clear. If they win that game in hand, which is Merseyside Derby against Everton, they are on 49 points. Which ultimately means they are 9 points clear, and it will be that's a 4-game swing if Arsenal win all 4 or win 3, draw 1, and Liverpool lose all 4 for us to get the first place. It takes us 4 games. And with 18 games left in the season, to have a 4-game swing, that's a 25% of the games need to go Arsenal's way ultimately. Imagine that. 25% of the games from the remaining games this season need to go in Arsenal's favor compared to Liverpool to at least get in a striking distance to win the league. That's 4 games alone. And the rest of them Arsenal needs to also get points. And I don't think we can do that. I don't have this feeling as well. Should Liverpool secure the title, it would mark an impressive achievement for manager Arne Slot, obviously in his first season especially. In contrast, Arteta, now in his 5th year as an Arsenal manager, would once again fall short of delivering the Premier League crown at the Emirates. Once again, fall short. Holy crap. The frustration, and this is the big one, I've read this article before and here we go. The frustrations among some Arsenal supporters have already begun to surface. According to Football Insider, a section of fans voiced their discontent after the Brighton result, with some even calling for Arteta's departure. They're seeking a manager who can deliver trophies more consistently and immediately. Big up to those fans, big up. Big up, Nathan. Thanks for dropping by. Have a nice evening, relax, and have a great day tomorrow as well. Big up. Well, Arsenal have shown improvement under Arteta. Questions remain about his ability to convert progress into tangible success. In football, and this is for all the top gooners and you morons that only like Arteta how he looks and says, oh, we got top 4 but we challenged, it's all good. Managers are ultimately judged by the trophies they win. Ultimately. Remember this. Frame it on the wall. Maybe you'll learn something. And fans are becoming restless after several near misses. Obviously that is the case. Arteta's future could hinge on Arsenal's performances in the other competitions this season. Success in the League Cup, FA Cup or Champions League may be enough to appease the doubters, but failing to add more silverware in the cabinet could lead to increased calls for change. For now, the Spaniard must rally his team and focus on making the most of the opportunities that remain. He has lots of jobs, he has lots of stuff to do. Plus, hasn't done anything still in the transfer window, so we'll see what's gonna happen there. But ultimately, this is the thing. Managers are judged by trophies they win. This is genuinely for all the top gooners who love how Arteta looks, who likes how Calafiori looks and the hair flicks from Odegaard, that said that top 4 is fine as long as we challenge. We are challenging, oh, we just fell a bit short, we got closer, we're gonna win the league once Pep leaves and everything. That's for all you guys. Managers are judged by trophies. And if you win none, you have to go. 5 years, 800 million spent. No excuses. Shut up and get sacked at the end of the day. That's it. At least that's how I see it. Anyhow, next 5 games, Newcastle. We have quite interesting games as well coming up. Newcastle at home, United at home, Spurs at home, and Villa at home. These 4 games, don't let this gaslight you that it's only Tottenham and it's only United, but this will be hell on earth. I genuinely have a very bad feeling about these 4 games. I have a very, very bad feeling about these 4 games coming up. Dinamo Zagreb, if we win, should be enough. Wolves away, we'll see where we are. But Villa at home, last year, that was fun. 2 years ago also, that was fun. Spurs at home, yes, we usually win, but given how we are playing, how we look, we have no Saka, and who usually carries us in these games, we'll see. United as well, they play like shit, but they are, I don't know if it's just a one-off game against Liverpool at Anfield or what, but they're figuring some stuff out. Especially these games are happening mid-transfer window, so by then they might sign someone as well. That will be, we have to keep an eye on that as well. We all know that Arsenal are not going to sign anyone, so we'll have to keep there. And of course, Newcastle on Tuesday. That team is genuinely on fire. They are on fire and they are riding high. Just look. Newcastle schedule. And they are genuinely winning left, right and center. Look, after the loss against Brentford 4-2, they drew against Liverpool and everything, but... Oh, I didn't change my screen. Oh, holy crap, I need to do this still. Like that. Anyways, but look. They won against Leicester 4-0. They beat Brentford 3-1. They beat Ipswich 4-0. They destroyed Villa 3-0. And they beat United 2-0. And they just beat Spurs 2-1. Now they are coming up against Arsenal. They're in a very good form. Isak is on fire, to say the least. And now they're coming at first to Emirates, to the EFL Cup, semi-finals. We'll see how that goes, because we are struggling at the moment, and that is the biggest issue. Now, obviously, here we have the second leg in February 5th, in a month exactly from today. We are going to St. James Park, in a place where we have had 1 shot on target in 2 years in playing there. And now we're going to play also again without Bukayo Saka. It's looking pretty bleak. It's genuinely looking pretty bleak, because if we look at Arsenal's schedule, it's as we just talked about. We have Newcastle at home, United at home, Spurs at home, and Villa at home. These 4 games, no matter how you look at it, are gonna be hell on earth, whether you want it or not. Dinamo Zagreb, we should be beating. We should. We genuinely should, not without even our best players. Wolves away will be an interesting one. Then we have Girona away. Okay, cool. If we win this game, we should secure top 8 potentially. So we should be fine in that. But of course, straight after January, let's not forget, we are playing against City at Emirates. It will be very interesting to see, because that game is straight after transfer window, which means there could be some new signings. And knowing how City are doing business, they might have some signings in already by mid-January. Already 1 or 2. Knowing how big of a free fall they are in, and they need to improvements in the team. They already have scouted. They already have found the proper players. They just need to pay for them, let's be real, and sign the contracts. Arsenal so far have done nothing in the transfer window. And that is the biggest worry. We have heard rumors, we have heard potential players, but nothing concrete as of yet. And that is one of the biggest worries, because we are 5 days into January. The transfer window closed in 26 days, and knowing we should sign someone at least by Friday, 10th of January, or even 12th. Let's be real, in a week. By the end of next week, January 12th, we should have signed at least 1 player. And then until the next time, we should sign another one in the meantime, in the coming days. Because if we again leave it to the late, it's gonna be panic. We're gonna be panic stations all over the place. We're gonna panic hard, like we did in this transfer window when we signed Raheem Sterling in the last seconds of the window. Like we didn't know what to do. We dragged it so long we had to sign Norberto Neto on loan. A cup-side goalkeeper, by the way. So it will be hell on earth, to say the least. But yeah, I think it's time to look a bit at this. what did Mikel Arteta say after yesterday's draw against Brighton? Because that is the big one. On the team's performance and the penalty. By the way, if you have not had your, I don't know, supper, dinner yet, pick up a plate, have some waffles, add some syrup. Let's get in this Waffle House, by the way. First of all, on the game, that's really a tough place to come. I think we started the game well in the first half, scored a great goal and didn't really concede anything. But in the second half, we dropped our standards and level with the ball, giving too many balls away that never allowed us really to generate momentum and dominance in the game, to control, to go for the second goal. And without really conceding much apart from that transition moment with Minte, becomes a decision that's very, very disappointing. Let's be real. We didn't do much in the second half. And we could have lost the game in the second half. Let's be straight up forward about this. It wasn't too far of that. On why Ethan Nwaneri came on, he felt some muscular issue. So basically, Nwaneri is injured as well, as it says. On receiving bookings for delayed corners and throw-ins, we can improve that, certainly. Dude, we have received 9 yellow cards this season for solely just delaying the game. 8 or 9, I think it was 9, but it might be 8. 8 or 9 yellow cards for our players this season for solely just delaying the game, draining the clock. And that also happens when we are drawing or even losing. We are not even rushing. That's how embarrassing it is. And we are doing that sometimes when we are 1-0 up in 20th minute. Why the fuck are you delaying the game 20 minutes in? When you're winning 1-0, go for a second, go for a third. Then you don't have to delay time. You are winning and you're done. You don't need to stress about these things. Like, it's just embarrassing to say the least. On the penalty decision, I've never seen a decision like this in my career. As the boys, if they had anybody who's seen it before, when you look at the incident, the distance, the player, João Pedro touching the ball and Saliba touching the ball, you can see the contact there. Yeah. On whether he's received an explanation from the officials, oh yeah, he said yeah, we'll have a look at it. Well, that was fun. On whether it's more painful to drop points over a controversial penalty decision, there are two things. First of all, the things that we must do better, we can do better and we can control. And then obviously there's all the things that they are not in our hands. Unfortunately, you can have a huge impact on the game. Obviously, and let's be real, we shouldn't be in this position. Because in the first half, I think we were good enough to score 2, to score 3, to put ourselves in a position where one call like that shouldn't ruin our game and ruin our chances on anything. But we have done it again and again and again, and this is not the first, and I would assume until Arteta goes the last time we do this. When we score a goal, we cannot score a second, we sit back, then we make some questionable iffy tackle or situation or handball questionable, where as long as it goes to VAR, you know it's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a red card. As soon as something like that happens, they will be on it. The refs will be on it like stink on cheese. And they will make the decision how they see it. As soon as we give them that chance, it's straight out of our hands. Only thing we can do is score enough goals, 2, 3, 4 maybe, to not make this, even if this happens, not to let it ruin our game. Not to let ruin our 3 points. Not to let ruin our momentum. But we don't do that these days. We score 1 goal, we sit back, waste time, lucky if we score second, and if we don't score second, usually at some point there is a questionable call, a red, questionable yellow, questionable decision, questionable foul that ultimately leads to us conceding. And that happens every single time. And that is solely on this dumbass manager from Spain, the Paella Pulis, Lego-headed Arteta dumbass, who needs to go. Because there is no chance in hell that our players envision playing football like this. No chance in hell. I refuse to believe to such incompetence for our players. Anyhow, whether we need similar run to this time last year. Well, yes, but I mean the run that we are in, especially with all the situations, injuries, illnesses, and the players that we are missing. I think the team deserves a lot of credit. It's disappointing because it's not how much we wanted. Therefore, we put in today's was more about the freshness and the quality that we have to deliver in the second half to dominate the game much better. But I understand that a lot. The biggest thing is, last year, our team was smallest team pretty much in the league with 25 players. This season we have the smallest team in the league with 22 players. Our squad is even smaller. And we didn't address that again in that transfer window in summer. We let go more players than we brought in. So that was the first. And second of all, last year we avoided injuries to most of our players. Most of our main guys from the starting 11 didn't get injured whatsoever. And at some point, the universe, as I like to say, will even it out. At some point, we will have to get more injuries. At some point, we will pay the price for overplaying, and also overpaying, let's be real, overplaying our players on consistent basis year after year after year. What necessity is for Bukayo Saka to play every single game full 90 minutes almost? What necessity is for him to come on when we are 3-0 up against Preston? What necessity is him to stay on the pitch when we are 5-0 up at halftime against Lons? What necessity is him to play for England national team against fucking San Marino? No disrespect to San Marino, but in this instance against San Marino, where England can play your Maduekes and players like that, when you don't need Bukayo Saka. What necessity is for Bukayo Saka to play about 60 to 70 games every single season for Arsenal, plus internationals, plus friendlies, 5 years straight, by the way, and now we are in this position where Saka is limping. It's his second or third hamstring injury, and this one's a big one, let's be real. And we still don't have a replacement. 5 years, 800 million spent, still no fucking replacement for Bukayo Saka. Been screaming for that for years. Been screaming for proper substitutions for Saka, for proper competition. For Odegaard, as much as I rate him, but not that highly as mostly Arsenal fan base. Still, no replacement for him. We saw that. We had a chance to play Nwaneri. Arteta strictly refused that. No replacements for Saliba. For Gabriel. Well, maybe Calafiori ultimately, but for Saliba there's nobody. We still don't have replacements in key positions. Our two best right backs are injured. We put our best midfielder in the right back spot. Our left backs are injured. We put our best right back as a left back. Which team does that? Arteta has just absolutely destroyed this. I don't know whether he's panicking or he doesn't know what he's doing and he's experimenting. But at the stage where we are in, there's no time for experiments. It's either win now or get out of the club at the end of the day. There is no time for experiments anymore, especially with 750 million spent, the way we are in the league and the way we were performing. The way we had to make profit in this last summer window. This is how you go for the league, for the cups, for the Champions League. Give over. It's time to go. It's genuinely time to go. Do you think it's a coincidence that Edu decides to go when he sees that Garlic has a better role now? Arteta has bigger role. His role is slipping away from him, and he has a chance with triple the salary go and manage 3 clubs at the same time. Of course he's gonna go, especially when Arteta is starting to put his hands into Edu's cookie jar and mess up his work, because there's no chance in hell that Edu signed all of these players. 100% Arteta wanted half of these players alone, the Merino, the Sterling, and everyone else. Before that, there's no chance Edu wanted them, because I 100% can guarantee Edu wanted someone else. It's just the fact that what Mikel Arteta wants, that he gets. He has Josh Kroenke specifically in his back pocket. And now Arteta will have the biggest saying in the world who we sign as a sporting director, what we do as a team now. He's like an octopus. He has a tentacle, his hand, in every single bloody cookie jar in Arsenal's team. He's mumbling in interviews like Ten Hag 2 months before he got sacked. He has more power at Arsenal than Arsene Wenger did at the time. And this can only end one way. For a novice manager who gets 15 million a year, third best paid manager in the world, who cannot win a fight out of a paper bag, he barely, maybe he can even beat, his coaching stat in Mortal Kombat cannot even beat them there. Arteta probably is teaching them how to pickpocket players on Mario Kart and everything, man. Just embarrassing. On illness on the squad, Kai tried, but he really was very honest and said, I can't even train, I'm not feeling good at all. We tried yesterday. Why couldn't he say that yesterday, for example? We tried yesterday to see if he could train, and he tried his best, but he wasn't able to do that. Martin didn't train and said, I will see how I feel tomorrow, and he did his best to be, because yeah, why did even Odegaard play? If he cannot train, he wasn't even starting, why the hell did he play? Why Declan Rice played? Arteta says, oh, he has injured, he's dealing with some knocks, he needs to manage his minutes. Bang, next game he starts. No management of the minutes all of a sudden. On whether we struggled to regain control today, no, I think we ended the game better. I think the last 10 minutes or so we had a feeling that we could generate something and we were more on top, but there was a period that was uncomfortable with some players playing in different positions. Yeah, that's on him, let's be real. That doesn't feel natural and not having the capacity to freshen it up. That's again on Arteta for not signing the proper players. But again, that's down to us. And exactly, that's not down to us. That's down to you, you moron. You're not signing for 800 million the proper players for longer time, man. That's embarrassing on you. On whether we need a new signing in January window, well, dude, no shit, Sherlock. Who asked that question? Obviously, we cannot make a decision based on the one performance. What the? Whoa. Obviously, we cannot make a decision based on one performance on one day where there are a lot of circumstances. Not only the players that were lost, but the sub that Ethan out and one out with Martin is introduced for a very limited time. Hopefully on Tuesday we will be in a better position. Let's see. So basically what this moron is saying right here, we are not signing anyone. We are not signing anyone unless we get a major injury to someone. We genuinely are not signing anyone. That's what he's saying here. Yet you have reports saying, oh, FFP isn't an issue, PSR isn't an issue, we have the money just as we are willing to spend. And now Arteta is coming out and saying, well, we don't have the money. Ultimately, we don't have the money. Which means we are not signing anyone. This is going very, very well. And on why we only had 9 shots today, you cannot rely just on one player to work. I think the process of the second half, especially we lack certain things and it's not normal. Yeah, 3 shots on target alone, that was fun. But certainly it's something we can do much better, obviously. Well, duh. Whether we earned the right to win the game, no we didn't. Let's be real, we did not. And if he says we did, he needs to go even more. The defensive part, I think we did a lot of great things with the ball, but we should have done better. And without them creating much, because they haven't, it was really tight game and there was not enough to win it. Exactly. We didn't do enough to win it. We didn't deserve to win it, ultimately. Let's be real. We deserve to draw the game at best. Let's be honest with ourselves. But anyways, it is what it is. We are 6 points behind Liverpool. They have a game in hand. There is a possibility that Forest can be on the same points as us if they win tomorrow against Wolves. Time will only tell. Where are Wolves in the table, by the way? 17. They are on the verge of going down, basically, relegation battle. The biggest thing is Ipswich have picked up some points. The draw against Chelsea, the win against and everything. It's actually going quite well for them, if you ask me. But ultimately, yeah, I guess it is what it is at the end of the day. Arsenal are sitting second in the table. Nottingham Forest can catch us, but I don't think it could be the case. We'll see tomorrow, of course. But yeah, we are closer to 5th than we are to the 1st, as mad as it sounds. And if they are 9 points clear, Liverpool, right? We are closer to 8th than we are to the 1st, as wild as it sounds. But I guess it is what it is. Time will only tell. Arsenal better not drop points or anything because it's getting on my nerves slowly but steadily. Arsenal can never capitalize on... Exactly! Yesterday was the prime time to do it. Big up Pepper. Yesterday was the prime time to do it, to score. By the way, did you see this? Here we go. On January, whether we need a new signing in the January window. Obviously, we cannot make decision based on one performance on one day where there are a lot of circumstances. Not only the players that were lost, but the sub to take Ethan out, the one with Martin and introduced for a very limited time. Hopefully on Tuesday we will be in a better position. Let's see. So basically he's saying we are not signing anyone. He genuinely is saying we are not signing anyone. As wild as it sounds, I guess. We are not signing anyone. We have reports stating that we have the money, PSR, FFP and all that jazz is not an issue, and Mikel Arteta comes out in the interview, says we are skint, we don't have money, we are not signing anyone unless there are some necessary circumstances. So basically, unless Odegaard gets injured or someone else gets injured, we are not signing anyone. We're gonna live and die by this sword. Ultimately, that's what it looks that way. As wild as it sounds, as wild as it seems, it doesn't look like we are going to sign anyone. And it's really getting on my nerves, I'm not gonna lie. It really, really is getting on my nerves, to say the least. Because how can you say things like that and ultimately not do anything? As weird as it is. It's really pissing me off. You have the money, go sign. You made profit, net profit in summer, yet you decide not to do anything now. And that's actually insane. That is actually insane. KC have told Arteta no money left to spend. I don't get it. One says we have money, other says we don't have money. That's the only explanation why we had to sell to sign ultimately in summer, if we don't have any money. That is the big thing. Oh, by the way, I can show you this one before I go. This is specifically what I talked about. An article, right? Article. Here we go. Should Arsenal consider sacking Arteta if we have another trophyless season? You never saw these articles some time ago. Now they actually are coming out. That's the wild one here. It's actually coming out. The articles are slowly coming out. Should we sack Arteta? Because when I was saying this, and other streamers, YouTubers were saying this, you know, Lee, Northside, Hooks, of course Curtis, and others were saying, get him out of the club, it's done and dusted, he's not the one. We were told we're toxic, negative, piss off down the line to support Spurs, we don't claim you, you are deluded. And now all of a sudden, online journals are saying, should Arteta be sacked? Arteta out. Fans are saying he should be going. That is wild. Online journalists now saying Arteta out. It's actually wild. They are actually seeing the goddamn light, I guess, for a change. It's a beautiful thing, by the way. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe they will open up an eye on some other things about Arsenal. But it's actually kind of mad. It's mad. Maybe now some people will realize what it's all about and how this is going. But I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I think for today that's gonna be it for me. Tomorrow, of course, Newcastle preview with Nwaneri injured. No idea who's gonna play right wing, but only time will tell. We're gonna see tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, Arteta's pre-game interview as well and everything. Gonna look at Newcastle and stuff like that. Have a great start of the week. I hope today's football didn't ruin your mood even more, especially since Liverpool dropped points and Arsenal couldn't capitalize on that like the ball jobs they are, but I guess it is what it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, have a nice evening. Enjoy your day tomorrow. New week, new chances, new opportunities. Take the best of it and never let go. Take care, stay safe. Arteta out!